"Alina, can you believe we're finally here?" I said, holding her hand as we walked across the terrace. The evening light shimmered, and for a moment, I felt like the world was mine. She laughed softly. "You always say that, but yes, everything feels like a dream. I mean it. My father would have been proud to see us together. You, me, the future we're building." Her smile widened, but I noticed the faint hesitation in her eyes. "Your father's legacy is big. Sometimes it feels overwhelming." I squeezed her hand. "Don't let it. You're not marrying the fortune, Alina. You're marrying me," of course, she whispered. But her gaze lingered on the sprawling estate longer than I expected. Daniel strolled up, grinning. "You two look disgustingly happy. Should I get out of the way before you start kissing?" "Shut up," I said, laughing. "Not everyone is as single as you," he smirked. "Hey, I like my freedom. But honestly, you've got a good one, man. Elena's perfect for you." She tilted her head, feigning modesty. "I try my best." Daniel raised his glass. "To the happy couple, to love, to loyalty, to a future without regrets." I clinked his glass. "Cheers." Elena's laugh was light, but her hand tightened on mine as if she needed reassurance. I brushed it off later that night. As we sat by the fireplace, I leaned closer to her. "Do you remember when we first met? You said you didn't believe in love at first sight." "Still don't," she said, teasing. "But I believe in what we've built together." I smiled. "I do too. We've made promises, ones I'll never break." Her eyes softened. "And if things ever change, then I'll fight for us. Always." She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she pressed her lips to my cheek. "You're too good for me. Or maybe you're exactly what I need," I whispered. The silence between us was warm, almost fragile. The next day, while walking through the gardens, I noticed her slowing near the family portraits displayed in the hall. My father's portrait loomed largest, his eyes sharp and proud. "He was a strong man," she murmured. "He left you everything, didn't he?" "Yes," I said. "But he left me more than money. He left me his principles." She tilted her head. "Principles don't pay for wedding halls and guests, though." I frowned. "Alina, why would you say that?" She laughed quickly, covering her slip. "Just joking. Don't look so serious. Let it go," though something in her tone stayed with me. That evening, Daniel joined us for dinner. He nudged me after Alina stepped away. "She's ambitious, you know. Don't let her outshine you." "What do you mean?" I asked. He shrugged. "Just saying, she's got a fire in her eyes. Women like her, they don't settle for small things." I frowned. "You sound like you don't trust her." Daniel raised his hands. I do. Relax. She loves you, man. That's all that matters." Still, his words echoed in my head long after. When Alina returned, she slipped her arm around me. "What are you two talking about?" "Nothing important," Daniel said smoothly. "Just reminding him how lucky he is." She smiled. "He is lucky." I forced a grin, brushing aside the unease, as I watched her laugh with Daniel. A strange thought crept in. Maybe love really does blind a man. But I silenced it quickly, because in that moment, I still believed in the perfect illusion. "Why are you still awake?" I asked as I walked into the living room past midnight. Alina sat curled on the couch, her phone pressed tightly to her ear. She jolted. "Oh, just talking to a friend." "Nothing important? A friend at midnight?" I forced a smile, trying not to sound suspicious. "Who?" She tucked her phone away quickly. "Don't be paranoid. Women talk." "You wouldn't understand." I laughed weakly. "Maybe not. But you've been distant lately." Her tone hardened. "You're imagining things. Stop overthinking." I wanted to believe her. I always did. The next morning, my mother cornered me in the kitchen. "You look tired," she said, pouring tea. "I'm fine." Her eyes narrowed. "It's Alina, isn't it? I see how she avoids family dinners. She never looks me in the eye." "Hey, Mom, please," I said quickly. "She's just nervous. You know, she's not used to big families. She's hiding something," my mother whispered. "I feel it." I shook my head. "You're wrong. Alina loves me. That's all that matters." But even as I said it, doubt stirred inside me. That evening I overheard voices in the hall. Elena's laugh, low and hushed, and another voice Daniel's. "You'll have it all after the ceremony," he murmured. Her reply was sharp, eager. "It has to be secured before then." "I won't take risks." I froze. My heart hammered as I pressed closer to the door. Daniel chuckled. "Relax. He trusts you blindly." "I know," she said, her tone cold. "That's why it's easy." Stumbled back before they noticed me. My chest burned. What were they talking about? The ceremony secured? Later at dinner, I confronted her lightly. "You and Daniel seem to talk a lot these days." She didn't flinch. "He's your best friend. Shouldn't I get along with him?" "Of course, but sometimes it feels too close." Her eyes narrowed. "Are you accusing me of something?" "No, I'm just saying." She slammed her fork down. "I'm sick of your questions. If you don't trust me, maybe you don't deserve me." I backed down immediately. "No, Alina, I do trust you. I love you." "I just then stopped doubting me," she snapped. Standing up and leaving the room, I sat there hollow, the sound of her footsteps echoing like a warning. The next day, Uncle Richard visited. He studied me quietly before speaking. "You look troubled, boy." I forced a smile. "I'm fine, Uncle." He leaned forward. "No, you're not. That woman Alanish is clever. Too clever. I see the way she watches the house, the land, the accounts." "You're imagining things," I muttered. "She loves me." "Love." His voice was sharp. "Or greed." "Don't be blind like I once was." My chest tightened. "She's not like that," he sighed. "I hope you're right. But remember, fortune attracts wolves. Protect what's yours." I nodded, but my heart churned with unease. That night, I lay awake beside Alina. She slept soundly, phone glowing faintly on the nightstand. A message flashed across the screen before fading. I didn't see the words, only the name Daniel. My hands trembled. I wanted to wake her, demand the truth, but I couldn't. Instead, I whispered into the dark, "You wouldn't betray me, would you?" The silence felt heavier than any answer. The hall glittered with golden lights, laughter, and the clinking of glasses. I stood at the center, hand in hand with Alina, my chest full of pride. Daniel raised his voice. "Everyone, gather around. The couple has something to share." Smiled at him, expecting a toast. But Alina squeezed my hand, stepping forward with practiced grace. "My dear friends and family," she began, her voice steady and sweet. "Tonight is not only about love, it is about legacy. And with this union, my future husband's fortune becomes mine, as tradition allows. His wealth is our wealth. His family's treasures are my treasures." The words struck me like a blade. My heart stopped. The crowd gasped. Someone whispered, "Did she just say his fortune is hers?" I turned to her in shock. "Alina, what are you saying?" She smiled at me, unfazed. "Darling, don't look so surprised. Isn't that what marriage means? What's yours is mine." I felt my throat tighten. "Not like this. Not in front of everyone," Uncle Richard muttered loudly, shameless. "What?" My mother's voice trembled. "How dare she claim it so openly?" The room buzzed with whispers, each one cutting deeper than the last. "Alina, stop this," I said, my voice shaking. "You're humiliating me? Humiliating?" She tilted her head. "I'm honoring you. Showing the world that you and I are one. Why pretend your fortune isn't ours?" I shook my head, my fists clenching. "This isn't about fortune. It's about love. And love isn't measured in money." Daniel suddenly stepped forward, clapping. "Everyone, calm down. Alina only means that they're building a future together. Don't twist her words." I stared at him, betrayed. "Daniel, why are you defending this?" He shrugged. "Because she's right. A wife should share in her husband's wealth. Isn't that natural?" My stomach turned. "You knew she would say this?" He avoided my eyes. "Don't overthink it, brother." I felt the walls closing in, the stares of every guest burning into me. "Alina," I whispered, my voice raw, "do you even love me? Or do you love what I inherited?" She leaned close, her smile unshaken. Why ask questions you don't want answered? The words shattered me. Gasps echoed as my mother stood up. You insult my son. You insult my late husband. Have you no shame? Alina turned to her gracefully. With respect, Lydia, I'm not insulting anyone. I'm securing the future of your son's name by claiming everything is yours. My uncle barked. Daniel interjected. Let's not ruin the evening. It's just words. Don't make it bigger than it is. But it was bigger. It was everything. I tried to speak, but my voice faltered. You planned this, didn't you? To stand before everyone and make it public, so I couldn't object. Her eyes flickered, and for a moment I saw the truth. Cold calculation beneath her smile. I swallowed hard, forcing words out. You've turned my father's legacy into a trophy. You've turned me into a fool. The guests began murmuring louder. Some shook their heads. Others avoided my gaze. Daniel whispered sharply in my ear, Don't make a scene. You'll regret it. Shoved him back. Stay out of this. Alina touched my arm lightly, her voice dripping with sweetness. Darling, don't be dramatic. Everyone here knows it's just tradition. No, I said firmly, my voice rising above the crowd. It's betrayal. And I see it now. The room fell silent. Every eye was on me. For the first time, I didn't care. My illusion of love had shattered in front of them all, and all I felt was rage boiling inside my chest. I closed the door behind us, my chest still heaving from the ceremony's chaos. Alina, I said sharply, what the hell was that out there? She sighed, unbothered, and poured herself a glass of wine. You're overreacting. It was a simple statement. Simple. You claimed my father's fortune is yours. In front of everyone? She sipped calmly. And what's wrong with that? We're getting married. Don't you believe in sharing? Not like this, I snapped. You humiliated me. My mother, my uncle, they're furious. You turned love into a business contract. Her eyes hardened. Stop being so dramatic. You think too much with your heart. That's why you'll never understand what real power means. I froze. Power? Is that all this is to you? She set the glass down, finally meeting my eyes. Listen to yourself. Do you really think anyone respects you for who you are? Without your father's money, you'd be nothing. My stomach dropped. You don't mean that? Don't I? You cling to this idea that people love you for your kindness. Wake up. They love what you represent, what you own, even your so-called friends. As if on cue, Daniel entered, closing the door softly. What's going on? Everyone outside is whispering. I turned to him. You heard her. She doesn't care about me. She cares about what I inherited. Daniel raised his hands. Calm down, brother. Alina just spoke too boldly. That's all. I said, my voice cracking. She admitted it. She sees me as weak, dependent. Don't twist my words, Alina interjected smoothly. I said, you think too much with your heart. That doesn't mean I don't love you. I stared at her, searching for truth in her eyes. Do you love me, Alina? Or do you love what I can give you? She stepped closer, touching my face lightly. Why can't it be both? Her touch burned like ice. Daniel put a hand on my shoulder. Listen, she didn't mean harm. Everyone knows wealth complicates things. Don't ruin your relationship over words. I looked at him, my chest tightening. Why are you always defending her? Do you believe her more than me? His expression flickered. I'm trying to protect you. Don't let pride destroy what you have. What I have, I said bitterly. A fiancé who mocks me and a best friend who excuses her. Daniel sighed. You're angry. You're not thinking clearly. Tomorrow, this will blow over. But Elena's voice cut through, sharp and cold. He's thinking clearly for the first time. He's finally seeing the truth. I turned back to her. The truth? She smirked. You're weak. You let emotions guide you. That's why you'll never lead. That's why you need me. Her words sliced deeper than any blade. Daniel stepped between us. Enough. Don't fight like this. You love each other, do we? I whispered. My voice trembled, my heart breaking, even as I clung to denial. Because all I see now are cracks in everything I believed. Alina leaned close, her breath warm against my ear. If you can't handle me, maybe you don't deserve me. I pulled back, my body shaking. Maybe you're right. The silence that followed was heavier than anything I had ever felt. I slammed the door behind me and sank into the chair, my hands trembling. How did I let this happen? I whispered, burying my face in my palms. The echo of Elena's words weak, dependent. Nothing without wealth rang in my head like poison. A soft knock interrupted my storm. Can I come in? Grace's voice was gentle. I hesitated before muttering, Yeah, come in. She stepped inside, her eyes wide with concern. Everyone's talking outside. She's laughing, smiling, acting like she won. I winced. Of course she is. She's already claimed the crown. I'm just the fool holding it up for her. Grace sat across from me. Don't say that. You're not a fool. Then what am I? I snapped, then instantly regretted it when I saw her flinch. Sorry, Grace. I can't breathe. Every word she said is clawing at me. She leaned forward. Tell me, said I'm weak, that no one respects me for who I am. That everything I've ever had, friends, love, even her, was just because of Father's money. Grace shook her head fiercely. That's a lie, is it? I asked bitterly. Be honest. Without Father's name, without the wealth, would anyone care if I stood in a room? Her voice cracked. I always would. I swallowed hard, fighting tears. You're my sister. You don't count? You think Father would agree with her? She challenged at that. My heart twisted. Memories of his stern but kind face surfaced. His voice echoed in my mind. Trust is strength. Never let anyone tell you your worth lies in gold. I whispered the words aloud, my voice breaking. He told me I'd face people who'd try to use me. He warned me love without trust is poison. Grace's hand gripped mine. And you forgot that. But now you remember. I was blind, I admitted. I wanted to believe Alina loved me the way I loved her. I ignored every shadow, every whisper. I let her wrap me around her finger until I couldn't see the chains. Grace's eyes filled with tears. Then break them. Don't let her destroy you. I shook my head. She already has. She parades around out there like she's queen, mocking me with every smile. And I sit here drowning. Grace's voice hardened. You're not drowned. It's not yet. You still have a choice. Father's words weren't for nothing. I laughed bitterly. A choice? To what, crawl back out there and pretend nothing's wrong? To watch her use me like a puppet while everyone nods along? Her silence told me she didn't have an answer. I rubbed my temples, my chest heavy. I've never felt this helpless. Angry at her, angry at Daniel, angry at myself. But most of all, ashamed. Ashamed that I let love blind me. Ashamed that Father would be disappointed if he saw me now, Grace whispered. He wouldn't be disappointed. He'd tell you it's not too late. Tears finally spilled from my eyes. Then why does it feel like it is? She wrapped her arms around me, and for the first time that night, I let myself collapse into her embrace. Her words steadied me even as my heart bled. You're stronger than this pain. You just have to remember it. And as her voice trembled against me, I realized I had reached the lowest point. Broken, betrayed, and stripped of illusion. But maybe, just maybe, it wasn't the end. I sat at my desk, staring at the chaos of unopened envelopes and forgotten papers scattered like the wreckage of my life. My hands moved aimlessly, searching for nothing in particular. When my fingers brushed a sealed envelope with my father's handwriting, my breath caught. No, it can't be. Grace peeked in from the doorway. What is it? I held it up, my voice trembling. It's Father's handwriting. He left me something. She rushed closer. Open it. My hands shook as I broke the seal. Inside was a letter, thick with folded papers. I unfolded the first sheet, his familiar script staring back at me. I read aloud, my voice unsteady. My son, if you are reading this, then you are at a crossroads. I feared this day might come. Wealth is a gift, but it is also a curse. Those who claim to love you will one day reveal whether it is your heart they cherish or your fortune they covet. My chest tightened, and I felt my father's presence in every word. Grace whispered. He knew. I continued, never forget. Your worth is not in the gold I leave behind, but in the strength I saw in you. You doubt yourself too easily, yet you have a will forged in fire. Do not let false love blind you, my son. Stand firm. Protect what is yours. Tears blurred my vision. I clenched the letter, my voice breaking. He knew Alina. He saw this long before I did. Grace touched my arm gently. Keep reading. I unfolded the second sheet of legal document, stamped and signed. My heart pounded as I skimmed the words. What is it? Grace asked anxiously. I swallowed hard. It's a clause. Father tied the inheritance to me alone. Not to a spouse, not to anyone else. Alina can't touch it without my consent. Her eyes widened. She doesn't know? No. I stared at the page in disbelief. She's been parading around acting as if she already owns everything. But this changes everything. Grace's lips curved into the faintest smile. Father gave you a weapon. I nodded slowly, the weight of realization pressing down. No, he gave me a chance to wake up. I turned back to the letter, reading the final lines aloud. If betrayal comes, remember this. I raised you to be more than a name, more than money. You are my son, and strength runs in your blood. Rise when they expect you to fall. The words struck deep, like a spark in the darkness. For the first time in weeks, I felt my spine straighten. My chest expand with something I thought I'd lost resolve. Grace whispered, Do you feel it? Yes, I breathed. His voice, it's like he's here, pulling me out of the ashes. I pressed the papers flat on the desk, my fingers gripping them tightly. Alina thinks she's won. She thinks I'm too weak to fight back. But Father, he left me more than money. He left me the truth. He left me the strength to face her. Grace's eyes glistened. Then promise me you won't let her break you again. I met her gaze, my jaw tightening. I promise. This time, I'll be ready. For the first time since the betrayal began, the fog lifted. I wasn't just a victim anymore. My father's words burned in my chest, steady and unyielding. I whispered to the letter as if he could still hear me. I won't fail you, Father. Not again. The rehearsal dinner buzzed with laughter and glasses clinking, but my heart hammered like a war drum. My father's letter was in my jacket. The small recorder in my pocket felt heavier than stone. I stood, slowly raising my glass. Before we toast, I'd like to share something important. Lena turned, radiant in her dress, flashing me that victorious smile. Darling, a speech? How sweet. I forced a calm grin. Yes, sweet. I pulled the recorder out. But first, let's hear from the bride-to-be. Her eyes narrowed. What do you mean? I pressed play. Her voice filled the hall, sharp and cold. Once the fortune is secured, he's irrelevant. He's weak, Daniel. He'll never resist. Gasps rippled through the room. My mother's hand covered her mouth. My uncle's jaw tightened. Elena shot up from her chair. This is twisted. Euthus is out of context. I raised my voice. Out of context? Let's hear more. Daniel's voice came next, smug. Don't worry, Elena. He trusts me. Between us, he won't see it coming. The hall erupted. Guests whispered furiously, some glaring, others shaking their heads. Daniel bolted up. Stop this. It's fake. You're manipulating everyone. I laughed bitterly. Fake. You forgot who taught me to use these recorders, Daniel. Your own voice betrays you. Lena's face turned pale, her mask crumbling. You don't understand I did it for us? For our future? I stepped closer, my voice trembling with rage and pain. You did it for greed. You used my love like a weapon. You paraded me as a fool. She reached out desperately. Wait, listen to me. My sister's voice cut through, fierce and trembling. We all heard you, Alina. There's nothing left to explain. Daniel tried again, his voice cracking. She was scared, that's all. Marriage is complicated, money makes people say things. I slammed my hand on the table. Complicated? You plotted behind my back? In my own home? You called me weak, disposable. Was that love? Only the sound of Elena's ragged breathing. My uncle rose, voice stern. You dare insult this family in its own hall? You dare call his father's legacy yours? Elena's tears streamed, her perfect image shattering. Please, it wasn't supposed to happen like this. I thought I was protecting us. I cut her off, my throat tight. Protecting us? No, Elena, you were protecting yourself. And you, Daniel, my friend, my brother and all, but blood you sold me out. Daniel's fists clenched, but his voice was hollow. I just wanted a piece of the life you were handed. My chest ached, but I held firm. You could have had loyalty. You could have had trust, but you chose betrayal. The hall erupted against shouts, curses, people rising from their seats. Some guests stormed out, disgust written on their faces. My mother grabbed my hand, her voice trembling. You've done what your father would have wanted. You exposed the truth. I looked at Elena one last time. Her beauty was gone, replaced by desperation and ruin. She whispered, "You'll regret this." I whispered back, steady now, "No. I regret ever believing you." I lifted my glass high, my voice echoing above the chaos. To truth, to freedom, and to the end of lies. The glass shattered as I slammed it down, sealing the moment forever. Inside, my heart bled, but for the first time in years, I felt unchained. The days after the rehearsal dinner were a storm I didn't have to command. I simply watched. I overheard whispers at a cafe, two women leaning close. Did you hear? Elena tried to claim his fortune as her own. She's finished. No family will welcome her now. When I entered, their eyes widened. I smiled faintly and ordered my coffee. Their silence was louder than any words. At home, my mother sat beside me, voice soft. You've done nothing, yet the world turns against them. I sighed. That's the irony, Mother. I don't need revenge. They're drowning in their own pride. Uncle Richard stormed in, his tone sharp. The board removed Daniel this morning. Fraud, manipulation, betrayal. He's burned every bridge. Grace gasped. Already? I nodded, calm but heavy inside. It was only a matter of time. People trust loyalty, not greed. Later that week, I saw Elena outside a boutique. She reached for the door, but the staff blocked her. Miss, we can't allow you inside, her voice cracked. I'm a loyal customer. Your name is poison now, the woman replied coldly. Elena spotted me watching. Her eyes brimmed with fury. This is your fault. Now I shook my head slowly. No, Elena, this is yours. You carved your own cage. She stepped closer, desperate. We can fix it. Say something for me, defend me, and maybe they'll forgive. I met her gaze. Why would I defend the knife that stabbed me? Her lips trembled. She turned away, humiliated, as strangers whispered around her. That night, Daniel appeared at my gate, clothes wrinkled, eyes hollow. Please, let me in, he begged. I opened the door halfway. Why? They fired me. Nobody answers my calls. Elena won't even speak to me. I lost everything. I studied him, the friend who once shared my secrets. You lost yourself long before this, Daniel. The rest just caught up. He grabbed the bars, voice breaking. I was jealous, all right. You had everything: wealth, family, respect. I thought if I stood with her, maybe I'd finally have something too. My chest ached, but I stayed firm. And now? His shoulders sagged. Now I have nothing. I closed the gate gently. Then maybe it's time you'll learn what nothing really means. His sobs echoed in the night as I walked back inside. Grace waited at the stairs, eyes shining with tears. Don't you feel sorry for them? I paused, staring into the dark. Once, maybe. But pity is wasted on those who never valued love.
Oh.
Mother touched my shoulder. Your father would be proud. You didn't seek their destruction, it came on its own. I whispered, more to myself than to them. Karma doesn't need my hand. It's patient. It's fair. The following morning, newspapers carried headlines. Alina stripped of contracts. Daniel resigns amid scandal. Their smiles, once plastered everywhere, were gone. Their names, once praised, had become warnings. I folded the paper, breathing deeply. For the first time in weeks, the weight on my chest lifted. I hadn't struck back. I hadn't planned their ruin. They had sown their seeds. And now I watched them reap the harvest. I stood in front of the mirror, forcing my face into calmness. Every muscle screamed a fight to expose her, but my father's words whispered in my ear, "Rise when they expect you to fall." When Alina walked into the room, her smile was sharp, triumphant. "There you are. I thought you'd be sulking forever." I lowered my eyes deliberately. "I needed time." "You shocked me, Alina, but maybe I overreacted." Her lips curved smugly. "Finally, some sense. You can't cling to old traditions forever. My way is stronger, more fitting for us." I nodded, my tone soft. "You're right. I should have trusted you from the start." She studied me, suspicious at first. Then her grin widened. "Good, because everything I'm doing, it's for us. For our future." Inside, bile rose in my throat, but I whispered, "I believe you." Grace's voice echoed in my head, warning me not to break, but I had to sell the illusion. That evening, Daniel joined us for drinks. He clapped my shoulder. "See? You two look better already?" "I told you, she knows what she's doing." I forced a smile. "Yeah, I guess I was too stubborn." Lena laughed, leaning into me. "Stubborn, yes, but lovable. He'll learn to listen eventually." Daniel chuckled, raising his glass. "Especially when there's so much to gain." I tilted my head, feigning confusion. So much to gain. He froze, his smile faltering. "I mean stability, of course. Security, you'll thank us later." My stomach twisted, but I kept my voice calm. "You're right. I should be grateful I have both of you guiding me." Lena smirked proudly, as if I'd handed her another victory. Later, when she left the room, I leaned toward Daniel. "You've always been by my side. Tell me honestly, do you really think I was wrong before?" He hesitated. "Look, you're my best friend, but Alina, she has vision. You'd never have handled things alone. This way, everyone benefits." Everyone. The word burned like fire. I leaned back, nodding slowly. "I see. So I was just in the way." He quickly shook his head. No, you're important too. But face it, without her, none of this would be possible." His slip was all I needed. Proof. Alina returned, holding 2 glasses of wine. "What are you boys whispering about?" I smiled at her, masking the rage boiling inside me. "Just how lucky I am. Without you, I'd be lost." Her eyes sparkled with victory. "Finally, you're learning." I raised the glass and clinked it with hers. "To us," she smirked. "To us?" But as I sipped, my mind was elsewhere, mapping every word, every mistake. Later, when she rested her head on my shoulder, she murmured, "I know I hurt you before, but you'll see it was necessary." I stroked her hair, my voice steady. "If you say so, I trust you." She sighed with satisfaction, falling deeper into her illusion of control. Inside, I whispered to myself, "Trust is strength." And mine is returning. The mask was on. The game had begun. I stood in my father's study, the scent of his old books still heavy in the air. My hand brushed over the leather chair he once sat in, and I whispered, "I hope I've made you proud." Grace walked in quietly. "You're talking to him again?" I smiled faintly. "It's easier than talking to myself sometimes." She tilted her head. "So what now?" "Elena's gone. Daniel's gone. You're free." I turned to her. Freedom feels strange. For so long, my life was tangled with theirs. Now, there's just silence. Grace sat on the edge of the desk. "You could start over, find someone new, open your heart again." I shook my head slowly. "Not yet. I don't want to build something on broken pieces." Right now, I need to rebuild me. Her eyes softened. Then what's the first step? I looked around the study. This legacy. Father worked for it, sacrificed for it, and I nearly let it fall into the wrong hands. My first step is to honor what he left us. She leaned closer. And us? Where do we fit in? I touched her hand gently. You're my anchor, Grace. You always were. I'll protect this family with everything I have. She smiled, eyes glistening. That sounds exactly like him. Later, Mother joined us, holding a worn album. She placed it in my lap. Your father's smile, your determination, it's the same. He'd tell you not to mourn, but to live. I traced a photo of him holding me as a child. I see him every time I look in the mirror. And for the first time, I don't feel the weight as a burden. I feel it as strength. Mother's voice trembled. Then you are truly his son. The next day, I walked through the company halls, people greeting me with cautious respect. One man whispered, "He's nothing like Daniel, leads with dignity." I stopped to address them. I won't be my father, and I won't pretend to be. But I'll carry his values, honesty, loyalty, responsibility. If you walk with me, we'll rebuild together. There was a quiet nodding, and in their eyes I saw hope instead of doubt. That evening, I sat with Grace on the balcony. The sunset painted the sky in flames of orange. She asked softly, "Do you regret it? Not marrying her?" I exhaled deeply. I regret believing in someone who never believed in me, but I don't regret letting her go. If losing her means finding myself, then it was worth it. She leaned her head on my shoulder. "You sound older, stronger," chuckled. "Scarred, but stronger. Every scar tells me where not to step again." For a long moment, we stayed silent, listening to the crickets in the wind. Then I whispered, "Love will come when it's meant to. But right now, love looks like family, responsibility, and truth." Grace looked up at me. "You've finally become his son." I smiled at her words. It felt like a blessing. As the night settled, I rose and looked out at the vast, dark sky. My reflection was no longer of a broken man searching for vengeance or validation. "I lost love," I murmured to myself. "Steady and sure, but I gained myself." And maybe that was always the greater gift.